All right, lots of videos coming in now from across the country as the process of tabulating these results actually come in. Remember, electronic voting machine results are being tabulated, but also postal ballots. Postal ballots apply, of course, to our armed forces or government representatives who are abroad, who have been allowed to manually vote the old-fashioned way in these elections. But let's go straight across now to NDTV's Sunil Prabhu, who's at the Congress headquarters at this stage. Sunil, till the end, the opposition has been saying 295 is at least what they're going to get. Is that what they're still going with at this stage? Is there a sense of nervousness? Is there a sense of resignation or something else?
Well, I think a mixed mood here at the Congress headquarters, and no better than Mr. Lok Sharma, who's been at the Hindi heartland. Do you agree with the exit polls in terms of, are you conceding already defeat?
No, not at all. We are not agreeing with the exit polls. We are waiting for the exit polls. And the kind of conduct election commission is behaving with the opposition parties for last 2-3 years. So many things are there, and transparency is now the responsibility of the Election Commission of India. So many news are coming from different states, different areas, that EVMs have been changed. If you go through the Twitter handle of Bhupesh Baghel ji, he has given a list.
But the DO has clarified, saying that there has been no clarification. That's what the Election Commission says.
No, Election Commission is just eye-washing, and they are not giving the exact info. Now, the transparent counting is the responsibility of Election Commission of India, and we hope that they will follow it.
So, do you agree that the Congress, Mr. Karge said 295? Is there a sense of, resignation that you will not be able to make the numbers?
No, 100% we are going to win by the evening. 295 plus is an digit which has been collected from all the alliance partners, from the ground, all the workers, and now I feel that is the exit poll. And these all exit polls are having an impression of the BJP government.
You're a veteran in terms of Congress politics. You've seen what happens. This is the first time a non-Gandhi is the Congress president. Will he be made now the scapegoat in case the Congress does badly?
No, that is a question of future. I don't think that such kind of conditions
will arise. Because we've actually got the first leads coming in over here. These are trends in 4 seats which have come in. 2 of these are in Uttar Pradesh, is the detail that we have at this stage. We'll try
one in Kerala and one in Gujarat.
One in Kerala, one in Gujarat,
is of course
and
Surat,
2 in Uttar Pradesh. Yes. Surat, of course, is out. So the first leads in Uttar Pradesh out at this stage, and we'll be able to give you an idea of what seats these are in just a few moments from now. But shall we introduce our panelists?
Yes. Well, Ashok Malik and Sugata Srinivas Raju have been with us in the studio since early this morning. We're also joined by Hilal Ahmed and Sandeep Shastri. Thank you very much, all of you, for being with us. It's going to be a long day. It promises to be a very exciting one at that. So we have the first leads, like Vishnu said, coming in. 1 from Gujarat, which is of course Surat. We know 2 from the seats in Uttar Pradesh and 1 from Kerala at the moment. This is of course just postal ballots. I want to just break this down and simplify it for our viewers. Professor Sandeep Shastri, 8 a.m. first leads coming in. How long before we have a clear picture on whether the exit poll numbers hold?
As you will notice, the initial counting is of the postal ballots.
Yes.
And that generally shows one trend. People who vote earlier would be the elderly, those from the armed forces, those working outside the city where they are registered as voters. That does not really give us a trend of how the voting in that constituency would go. I think our trends would be more visible by 10:30. Okay. And where there is a real close contest, it could take a little later. But I think we will have the result sometime by 12 o'clock this afternoon.
So postal ballots account for what? Approximately 1% of all votes?
Much less than that. It's, I think, 0.5% or something.
0.5%. Right. So in fact, we all get extremely excited when the initial trends come. But remember, it is largely postal ballots at this stage. But we do have some trends, and remember, these are trends. As more rounds of counting, even electronically, take place, these end up becoming results. So we've got 15 trends at this stage, and in terms of the states, these are coming in from 1 in Bihar, 2 in Gujarat, 2 in Kerala, 2 in Maharashtra, 1 in Madhya Pradesh,
and 5 in Uttar Pradesh.
In Uttar Pradesh, 1 in Rajasthan, 1 in Himachal Pradesh. So those are some of the trends coming in. I think it's fairly safe to say, for example, in the case of Himachal Pradesh, where there is a large number of soldiers deployed, that's quite clearly a postal ballot number coming in at this stage. So that's what we have at this stage. The leads point at this stage to the BJP 2 in terms of leads. That's down 1. The India Alliance up 1 from last time, but again, very early days indeed.
All right, we have Vasudha joining us live at the moment. Let's go across to Vasudha. Vasudha, we know that BJP reporters have already been given messages on what the schedule for the rest of the day is going to look like. That's, of course, how the party works and how the planning works. But we have the initial trends, very, very initial trends coming in about 20 seats. We'll, of course, continue to break down those numbers for you. But Vasudha, where are you and what's happening?
Well, Vrishika and Vishnu, I'm coming to you live from the BJP headquarters in New Delhi. And of course, there's a lot of activity here. The place is buzzing with a lot of activity. From about 5:30 a.m., reporters, media persons started trickling in, not just national media, but also international media. And now the spokesperson started coming in about 7 o'clock. We are told that from 10 o'clock, senior ministers, senior party leaders could also be coming here. Remember, Rishika, that the party is a party that believes in preparations, but at the same time, it also believes in caution. So while we see puris and laddus being prepared here, being cooked here, they're also very careful about, they're also being very cagey about the scale of celebrations that are being planned for today evening. Just a few meters away from now, there's an extension of this building, a new BJP building that was built 2 years ago. So there are preparations going on there for today's evening event. But all of that scale and intensity of this will depend on the kind of, mandate that the BJP gets. But of course, the historicity and record-breaking nature of the BJP coming back to term would also be, history in itself. So that is something that the BJP wants to drive across. I'm told that JP Nadda also has met a few leaders of the party today to take stock of the preparations. But as of now, at the BJP headquarters, there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of anticipation, there's a lot of excitement. The party, of course, is very happy, and party leaders are mostly very happy, and they're hoping that things go the exit polls way, and not even one state sort of, becomes an outlier in this context.
I just wanted to go across to Anuja Kapoor, spokesperson of the BJP, who joins us at this stage. Good morning, Anuja. It's all right. Just half a second. We've got the election commissioner speaking. Let's listen to it.
2.5 महीने की लंबी तैयारियों का
that bite in just a moment. Anuja Kapoor joins us at this stage. Anuja, are you nervous at all? Don't tell me you're not a little bit nervous. Exit poll or no exit poll, all these early trends which have the NDA at 16 trends, not results, little bit of sort of butterflies in the tummy?
Jai Shri Ram. Good morning to everyone. Definitely we are not nervous. We are desperate to open up the sweets as early as possible. We are just in the moment of celebration. We know where we are standing. It is Modi ka parivar. Today they are going to be the ones who's going to be the winners. The Karyakartas, the Panda Pramukh, those are the real warriors who has worked on the booth, who has worked for Modi ji, has come forward, irrespective of caste, creed or religion. This is where Modi stand. The love of Modi is coming back with multifold, with 80% votes. We are coming up with that. Last 2019, it was 50%.
Do you still believe, Anuja, that it's going to be what, 400 or close to 400, or that was something that had to be said?
Of course it is 400 and plus. It is 370 plus. Because this is where we belong, because the development which is there, the development will talk about. What Modi's vision, that will talk about. You have already seen, the minute he came out of the sadhana, he started with his 100-day meetings. So you see that, do you see this man? This is a 24/7 leader of yours.
Okay.
So I'm very blessed that I belong to this party.
And I believe he's speaking at 7 p.m. This evening, right, Anuja? That's when the Prime Minister addresses all the Karyakartas of the party. So that's something that, irrespective of what happens in these elections, right?
We are going to stand where we stand. It is not about irrespective. It is about what is Modi's vision which has brought us together. It is the unification what Modi believes in. Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat, he's talking about.
Okay.
This is the consecutive third term with an eye of 2029. People, all the opposition forgot that.
All right.
That they're talking about 2024.
NB Subhash, spokesperson of the BJP, is also with us. But before we get a sense from him, Hilal Ahmed, if I can just come to you, you've been with us throughout our poll coverage as well. And it's interesting because, 400 par has been the nara. But at the same time, in the same breath, you heard the BJP spokesperson say we're getting 370 plus. How do you look at this entire positioning as far as 400 par is concerned? Pipe dream, reality, some exit polls are predicting their upper end to be 400.
Basically, political party, the aim of the political party to create a hype, which is exactly what they did.
Yes.
And you just saw the spokesperson's statement that they were going to get 80% of votes. So it means that you have to be more enthusiastic. And one important thing which we must remember about the political mobilization of BJP, it's actually Karyakarta centric, which is, you have to look at not merely the second level leadership, but to go to the bottom. And that's why Panna Pramukh and Karyakarta, Modi ji always talk to Karyakarta directly.
Right.
And that has somehow created an impression that you need to have some kind of a narrative which is more enthusiastic, and 400 par was nothing but just to mobilize that Karyakarta and the Panna Pramukh at the bottom level of mobilization.
Vishnu, do you want to just quickly discuss the trends that are coming in right now? We have
I know,
trends
it is
in
quite,
over 50
it is quite okay. So we've
Coming
touched the 50 plus 50 mark.
Yes.
Trends in 61 out of
61 now.
543. Remember, 273 is the target, 272 of course the halfway mark. The NDA at 37, that's down 6 from last time. The India Alliance at 24, up 7. Again, postal ballots most likely in several states, particularly the hill states, Rajasthan as well. Wherever there are armed forces, there are postal ballots which kick in. So these are not reflective by any means of where things might be headed in, let us say, an hour or an hour and a half from now. But this is certainly enough to give us a talking point. If you take a look at these states, and I think this is interesting, again, a hill state of Himachal Pradesh, it accounts for many soldiers of the Indian Army, different regiments, would vote over there, soldiers who are deployed over there. That we just had that number of Himachal Pradesh as well. But before we look at this any further, it's 42-27 in terms of just leads as this time, not results. Let's listen in to Arjun Ram Meghwal, who's spoken to NDTV just a few minutes back.
लोक सभा चुनाव संपन्न होने के बाद आज मतगणना होने जा रही है और मतगणना के दिन हम खड़े हुए हैं केंद्रीय मंत्री अर्जुन राम मेघवाल के दौलत खाने पर, जो चौथी मर्तबा बीकानेर से इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं। और सर, कितने आश्वस्त हैं जीत में?
देखिए, बीकानेर की जनता भारतीय जनता पार्टी को भरपूर आशीर्वाद देने जा रही है। आज नतीजे भी ये आपको बता देंगे कि चौथी बार लगातार भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जीत हासिल हो गई।
पिछले 3 कार्यकाल से चौथा कार्यकाल कैसा था?
देखिए, वो मैं शाम को 5 बजे बताऊंगा जब मैं सर्टिफिकेट लेके आ जाऊंगा। लेकिन निश्चित रूप से जो विकसित भारत की नींव है, उसमें बीकानेर की भी बड़ी हिस्सेदारी होने वाली है।
मोदी जी की लीडरशिप में तीसरी मर्तबा लोकसभा चुनाव होने जा रहा है।
देखिए, चुनाव 1 जून को 7वां चरण पूरा हो गया। आज तो मतदान के बाद परिणाम का दिन है। तो तीसरी बार मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री बनेंगे, निश्चित रूप से बनेंगे।
All right, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat's also spoken to NDTV, so a lot of top leaders from Rajasthan there. But before we go across to that interview, we have trends in 9 out of 25 seats in Rajasthan and 10 in favor of the BJP. So 10 out of 25 now, 10 in favor of the BJP. Let's listen in to what Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has had to say.
7 चरणों में लोकसभा हुए चुनाव के बाद आज मतगणना है। हमारे साथ हैं जोधपुर संसदीय सीट से भाजपा के प्रत्याशी जो अपना तीसरी बार चुनावी मैदान में है और जीत की हैट्रिक का दावा कर रहे हैं। सर, आज काउंटिंग भी है, कितना उत्साह देखा जा रहा है?
आपने देखा होगा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सभी कार्यकर्ता जो मतगणना की प्रक्रिया में हिस्सा लेने के लिए जा रहे हैं, वो अपरिमित उत्साह से लबरेज भी हैं और पूरी तरह से जीत के लिए आश्वस्त विश्वस्त होकर के आज मतगणना की प्रक्रिया में जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि धरातल पर काम करने वाले कार्यकर्ताओं को, जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता जमीन से जुड़े हैं, उन्हें पूरा भरोसा है कि देश की जनता ने विकसित भारत के संकल्प को सिद्ध करने के लिए और गरीब कल्याण, देश की सुरक्षा, देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को आगे बढ़ाने और देश का सम्मान पूरे विश्व भर में बढ़ाने के लिए जिस तरह से मोदी सरकार ने पिछले 10 साल तक काम किया है, जनता ने उस पर मोहर लगाई है। न केवल जोधपुर में अपितु राजस्थान में और पूरे देश भर में लगाई है। इसलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कार्यकर्ता एक असीम विश्वास के साथ में आज मतगणना की प्रक्रिया में जा रहा है और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी विजयी होगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ में विजयी होगी। जो नारा देश की जनता ने हमें दिया था कि अब की बार 400 का पार, और 400 के पार को सिद्ध करने के लिए जिस तरह से देश के भारतीय जनता पार्टी के देश भर के कार्यकर्ता जुटे थे, आज वो संकल्प सिद्ध होगा।
Just to explain, Rishika, to our viewers what exactly we are looking at. 543 total number of seats, 110 trends right now, and you might be asking, but could all 110 be postal ballots? And the point, and Professor Shastri will come in on this in just a few moments, is that why not? These could be postal ballots, or are likely postal ballots, spread across the country, because postal ballots have been voted upon across the country.
Yes.
And so these reflect just a small number of the total percentage of votes in every seat across the country. Is that right?
Vishnu,
that
you
how we interpret this?
are right in saying that. What we are seeing now is the postal ballots in around 110, 112 constituencies.
Yes.
And this is normally completed in the first half an hour to 40 minutes. As you also said, it could be variation across constituencies. In some constituencies, you would have much more postal ballots, where you have more cases, especially as was mentioned, constituencies where armed forces voters or security voters are more.
Yes.
They would have already cast their ballot beforehand. So it varies from constituency to constituency.
How does one actually count postal ballots? It's manually done? Are there a
It's manually done.
couple of rounds?
It's manually
So
done.
3 rounds? Ballot
Yes.
paper, 3 rounds of checks and cross checks, right?
Right,
So it does take a little bit of time.
I want to
Much
just also
slower.
very quickly look at the numbers that are coming in. These are postal ballots, like Professor Shastri has also just explained. But if you look at some of the numbers right now, Maharashtra, India leading in 5, NDA 7. But if you look at Haryana, India 4, BJP 1. I think that is one of the very interesting things. It's also very interesting to see that it's 1 and 1 in Assam. And if you look at Uttar Pradesh, I just had the Uttar Pradesh numbers also. It was very interesting in Uttar Pradesh because Vishnu, it is 17 to 11. So 11 for India and 17 for NDA. We know these are just postal ballots, but very quickly, first reactions, how are you looking at the numbers?
If these translate into actual results, then certainly the India Alliance has put up one heck of a fight.
Yes.
Add that word of caution.
Caution,
In
of course.
every election
It's
till
only
now,
20 minutes.
we have seen that the postal ballots
It changes
arouse a
completely.
lot of excitement, but the actual trend becomes
We
much
should have a
different
big
later.
ticker saying warning, these aren't it.
Health warning with exit polls, health warning with postal ballots, but still, initial reactions to the numbers that are coming in, because it's interesting, the numbers that are coming in.
If the postal ballots are mirroring our exit poll, then I think it's more or less coming the way that the exit poll predicted.
Okay. Do you agree? Ashok Malik?
No, I mean, obviously these, look, I don't take postal ballots as indicative of anything, because the sheer number of postal ballots is very, very small. And I would be extremely cautious in drawing any larger conclusion.
Right. Okay, let's go across to NDTV's Pratibha, who joins us now from Bengaluru. Pratibha, go ahead.
The Adi Chunchungiri Mutt, and this is one of the mutts that is famous for the Vokkaliga community, and we have with us the JDS leader, the state president, Mr. H.D. Kumarasamy here, also a very famous Vokkaliga leader here in Karnataka. So that is H.D. Kumarasamy seeking divine intervention here right on the day of counting. In fact, just a couple of days ago, he was at one of the resorts here after a marathon election campaign that he partook in. Plus, we were talking about how the first phase of the election that was witnessed in Karnataka was more about Modi guarantees as well as the Congress guarantees. And then during the next phase of the election, we had one of the most controversial issues of Prajwal Revanna doing the rounds here. Let me see if I can actually get a word or two from Mr. Kumarasamy. Sir, one word from you with respect to the counting. How nervous or how hopeful are you?
There is no question of nervous. There is no question of nervous. We are totally full confidence. We are going to win the elections. All our candidates from BJP and JDS, they will win.
Kumarasamy extremely hopeful all our candidates will win the election. Sir, one of the most controversial issues has been the Prajwal Revanna issue.
There also we will going to win the election. After the election results, what are the decision we have to take, we will take.
That was Mr. Kumarasamy talking to us about how there will be a decision that will be taken after the election results based on what transpires with respect to the Prajwal Revanna issue. Well, massive crowd here with respect to everybody trying to get a word or two from Mr. H.D. Kumarasamy there. So there he is talking much more on the election results today.
Kumarasamy over there, the entire Prajwal Revanna controversy which broke fairly early in this election process, will it impact them or not? Let's just see. They are of course in alliance with the BJP in the state. But if we look at Karnataka, interestingly, we've got that graphic on the stage over there. The NDA has leads of 12, the Congress at 2. Again, very early days. These are likely postal ballots.
Yes.
We need to keep saying that. Rishika?
But I just want to say that I think, Saugata Srinivas Raju, if you want to come in here, I think the Prajwal Revanna controversy all happened after polling in Karnataka was complete. So the controversy in no way has a bearing on that. Prajwal Revanna's constituency had voted.
The controversy broke 3 days before the first phase of polling. That is, Hassan went to polls the first phase, and 3 days before this whole circulation of the pen drive in Hassan had happened.
But it became national
It became
news
national only after that.
And
so
how
I
many
think
phases did Karnataka have?
Two phases.
Two phases.
So north of Karnataka and central parts of Karnataka voted in the second phase. But this broke in the first phase, so it will reflect if, the number of votes he's going to get, or he's going to win, or is he going to lose. All of that is
But I think it became public information only after his constituency had voted, Hassan had voted.
You have its possible impact being limited to Hassan, because the news was spread in Hassan. But by the time the second phase in Karnataka came, this broke out. And the second phase was the phase where BJP was hoping to do very well. So that was the worry for the BJP, that this issue broke out before the second phase of the poll.
Just out of curiosity, where are the postal ballots in Karnataka? 14 of 28 out. The NDA leading in 13, that's down 1. The Congress at 2 is up 1. So it's still resoundingly, going in the NDA direction, but again, with
where
all the
it's really neck and neck, Vishnu, is Maharashtra, because it's 11 and 11. Just if we are talking about the postal lead. Yes.
Good for the Congress, they can feel some
so
kind
despite
of
this
yes.
controversy taking place.
Yes.
Let's go across to Mahima Singh of the Congress Party. Mahima, these are of course very early days. Trends in 216 of 543 places, the NDA at 116, the India Alliance at 96, 117 to 96 at this stage. Any thoughts on what we are seeing on our screen at this stage? We know that it's early, but any thoughts as far as the opposition is concerned, your party is concerned?
Jai Hind. Those famous lines of Dushyant Kumar's occur to me this morning when he says, "Kaise आकाश में सुराख नहीं हो सकता, एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो यारो." We have fought this election on the ground with the people of this country very strongly, with all our might and all our efforts. So I am very sure that the results, as they will turn in during the day, will favor the people of this country, will favor the democracy, will favor the constitutional values. We are very hopeful. Our cadres are very hopeful. All we have done through the elections is raise people's issues. And that is how an election must be contested in a parliamentary democracy such as India's.
All right, Neerja Chaudhary is also with us in the studios. Neerja, how are you looking at the numbers? We have leads in 227 out of trends rather, 543, and it's only 8:30, so a lot of health warnings. These are still postal ballots very early on in the morning. So no smiles, no excitement, just very boring. How are you feeling?
No, I don't think we should rob ourselves of excitement, even if it's early hours. And it's, this is D-Day. We waited for 2024 counting day for a very long time.
80 days, 7 phases, 3 months. Ask us.
Yes, a long, hot election.
Yes.
And every election is very exciting. You know, the early, what we were saying, let's be cautious, Of course, let's be cautious.
Yes.
Let's not come to any conclusion. But let's not, as I said, rob ourselves of the excitement of another government being formed in democratic India.
Yes.
Of all the contention that's, gone on in the last weeks. So I would say, looking at it, early days, yes. Early hours, yes, 100 and 131 or 103, so India is not so way behind as the exit polls had predicted.
Shastri,
But that's
know,
neither here nor there. I would say that.
When do we know that we are more or less through with postal ballots and there are non-postal ballot leads coming in? How do we know? It's not as if the Election Commission announced
one indication of that would be the sudden jump in numbers.
Right.
Because when the EVMs
jump in the number of trends.
In the overall numbers, sudden jump in the overall numbers.
Okay.
Because these are fairly robust numbers at 246. It's going up every few seconds. So again...
Have you become more efficient and faster, perhaps? I think that's the question here.
It could well be at this stage that there would be a couple of non-postal ballot leads as well. Look, in the course of the sentence, it's jumped up to 250. And there's no way of knowing.
I think the seats, the constituencies where the number of postal ballots would be very limited, I'm sure the EVM process would have now begun. And it's very difficult to say in which constituencies the postal ballot count has ended and in which constituencies the EVM's data has started coming out. That would be very difficult to say at this stage. But by 9, we can surely say that the postal ballot would be done and everywhere it's the EVMs which are being
which would start coming in. Let's listen into Shashi Tharoor, the senior Congress leader who's been speaking to the media in the last few moments. Let's just take a look.
Expectations on this counting day?
Yeah, I have no doubt. The expectations were set on the 26th of April, not today. Because the fact is that once people have cast their votes and the boxes are sealed in the strong rooms, there is frankly no further room for any argument or debate, right? I mean, this has happened, it's happened. So people have voted. All we have been doing is waiting 6 weeks to find out how they voted then. So whatever has been said since then, including the exit polls, can have no bearing on the outcome because the outcome was established on the 26th of April.
Okay, sir, there is always an analysis that, the cross-voting helped you in the previous elections.
No.
This time is at a tight three-corner
I
fight,
definitely do not buy that theory. I know for a fact that there was no cross-voting in the last election. Mr. Divakaran had a very, very strong belief that he was going to do well, and I think the left rallied behind him very solidly. I don't think there was any cross-voting at all. In any case, neither have we benefited from cross-voting in the past, nor did we expect to see any cross-voting this time. We will win on our own merits or we will fail. But my own view is we are winning.
So are you concerned about your majority that it is going to repeat?
How does it matter? How does it matter? I've served in Parliament twice with a 1 lakh majority and once with a 15,700 majority. It made no difference. Once you are there, you have earned the right to represent your people. And as far as they are concerned, whether you go there with a 10-vote majority or a 10,000 vote majority or a lakh majority, you're still their representative. And I've always taken the view that once I have been elected, I am the representative of all, whether they voted for me or not. And I'll work in that same spirit in future.
All right, so this is going to be one of the interesting battles to watch out for, Rajiv Chandrasekhar versus Shashi Tharoor. And there's a strong left candidate as well, Vishnu, in Thiruvananthapuram. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Very close contest.
Throw a spanner in the works of how we should be analyzing this entire thing and say that the India alliance is ahead of the left at this stage, but it's equal, in fact, even Stevens, nine apiece. But again, when I was asking Professor Shastri what this was all about and our other panelists, they pointed out that there is a huge number of migrant workers from Kerala, and therefore these are likely postal ballots which are coming in. But just for the sake of curiosity and our viewers, it's now India leads in 9, the India alliance, the left leads in 9, the NDA is actually at 0. So correction, none for the NDA at this stage. But that's changed around again. So there we go. It keeps changing. It's changing around.
Professor Shastri.
If you notice, the gap between the NDA and the India alliance is slowly increasing.
Increasing, yes.
You saw a much smaller gap in the beginning, but now that gap is going bigger.
As ballot boxes are
As ballot boxes, as the EVMs are being opened, it's
so now we can say that we're gradually shifting from the postal ballot to the ballot boxes. All right. We have Radhika Ramaswamy joining us live from Accounting Centre. Harsha Kumari Singh also joining us at the moment. Radhika, to you first. You're at a major counting centre. Give us a sense of what's happening there.
That's right. I am at a counting centre in Goregaon. In fact, 3 constituencies votes being counted here, which include important constituencies in Mumbai North Central, as well as Mumbai Northwest constituency. Of course, Mumbai North is from where Piyush Goyal is contesting. It could be a cakewalk for him because North had been a BJP bastion of sorts. He's contesting against Congress. As far as Mumbai is concerned, it's BJP versus Congress in 2 seats and Sena versus Sena in 3 seats. And what we are hearing now is, as far as Mumbai Northeast is concerned, where it is a contest between BJP and UBT Sena, which is Mihir Kotecha versus Sanjay Dina Patil. Looks like Sanjay Dina Patil at the moment is having a lead. So Uddhav Sena having a lead. Also, we are hearing that this is a close contest. That's what exit polls have been saying. 11-11 is what we are hearing at this point. Of course, too early to speak about, the results as of now.
In favor of India.
As we've been predicting, as a result of the change in political landscape, this time what we are seeing is a very close contest between the newly formed alliances, between Mahayuti as well as MVA. Looks like it's the legacy battle that is in a sense winning. It's the traditional Sena and traditional NCP that is sort of being given a preference over perhaps the rebels, but again too early to say. But certainly this may not be a clean sweep for Mahayuti as being predicted by pollsters. Last time around, as far as NDA is concerned, 41 out of 48, which of course included undivided Sena. This time we are talking about divided Sena, divided NCP, multiple realignments. So this is going to be a keenly watched result as far as Maharashtra is concerned, and could be very, very neck to neck.
You know, what's going to be very interesting to see in Maharashtra as well is the margins, Vishnu, because given how fascinating the battle is, it's going to be very interesting to see what the margins are going to look like.
But this is a fairly remarkable story, because I suspect at this stage you'd be probably getting a couple of leads as well, not just postal ballot results and leads. And so therefore, I think before we go across to Harsha, Rishika, I think it's interesting to take a look at the overall number.
Yes.
And this overall number, the large number of which would be postal ballots, but also a couple of non-postal ballot leads coming in at this stage, indicates for the India alliance that they're actually up at this stage by 43 from last time around. The NDA down 33. Now, this trend by itself doesn't necessarily augur that badly for the NDA. They may still end up well above the magic mark. They are still very much on course at this stage. But I think even if these are leads with postal ballots and a couple of leads thrown in, I mean, this would be encouraging. I think that's the word which can be used for the India alliance. Nija, how would you look at this? Postal ballots and a couple of leads coming in for both the
35
formations.
minutes.
It is early days.
Counting.
We've seen one group or another overtake, the other one. So I think I would say on that to come to any conclusion. But overall, what it's telling you is not a runaway success of 400 plus. If you go at this rate, we may not go at this rate as we progress into the counting. But let's see. But it's becoming quite interesting sitting here at this moment.
41 seats are up. 2019 figures, it's 41 seats. Even if you go by the postal year,
and NDA down 31. Even if these are postal trends,
Vishnu, I would still be a little cautious at this stage.
Yes.
Because I remember in 2019 and 14, we there was a lot of excitement because of this initial.
I promise
we will
you
have
should
to
not
wait
be
till around
excited.
9:30 for the trends.
Yes, but it's only 35 minutes into counting. There are also early
we should
trends
allow
as
him
far
some
as
excitement, you know, I mean, that's
Hilal,
positive
how would you take
no,
a look?
Professor Shastri has told us no excitement, so we're taking that
No,
very,
but-
very
but-
seriously.
Hilal, your
I
thoughts
go
on
with Professor Shastri.
You go with him.
No,
So you're
no
playing very
excitement.
safe over here, Hilal. No, whatever he says,
Okay,
right?
I want to
There's a
just say
reaction,
we
I
have a
think.
we have a reaction coming in from Omar Abdullah. But speaking of Jammu and Kashmir, trends in 4 out of 5 seats in favor of India. India leading in 3 and BJP in 1 at the moment. But let's listen into what Omar Abdullah has said.
Important elections for the National Conference, particularly
important elections for the nation. It's a general election. It will decide the course of the next 5 years. Of course, for Jammu and Kashmir, a big election. So let's hope for the best.
Confident for your victory?
Quietly so.
Thank you.
It's such important elections these in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly given the voter turnout, which has been so large.
Yes.
If there's been one of the major successes in this entire election process has been people coming out to vote without fear. That's been a huge factor in elections in the past, and irrespective of who does well, the fact that we've got a security situation across large parts of Jammu and Kashmir, which have actually allowed that, I think is
The
a huge
highest in 4
takeaway.
decades, Vishnu.
Incredible, absolutely. But let's go across to Harsha Kumari Singh right now. Harsha monitoring all these leads and results very closely. Harsha, the latest we have 21 out of 25 seats. These are leads, largely postal ballots, presumably 14 for the BJP, India at 7. For the BJP means that it's 6 down from last time. But Rajasthan is a state where we've got the BSF, we've got the Indian Army. So postal ballots would certainly constitute an important part, right, Harsha?
Also, Harsha, these leads very interesting given the fact that the BJP is eyeing a 25 on 25 hat-trick this time around. They've clean swept in 2014 and 19.
Well, yes, and unanimously I've looked at all the exit polls, and our sense on the ground also is that Rajasthan is one of the few states where the Congress can actually hope to open their account. So I think perhaps these early leads could be indicative, though of course I don't know how much we're going to get out of Congress leaders. Mr. Ashok Gehlot unfortunately is down with a slip disc, so he's been advised bed rest, but I'm sure if the party does quite well, he will at least give us a bite. And Sachin Pilot, surprisingly, is in Delhi, so maybe someone can go off to his residence and get something from there. But yes, on a more serious note, Vishnu, I think, the issue in Rajasthan is not so much the 25 out of 25, but really the litmus test for the new leadership. Remember, Rajasthan is one of the states where the BJP central leadership has experimented. They've edged out Vasundhara Raje. They've put in little-known Bhajan Lal as the chief minister. Has this government been able to perform or not in the past 4 months? I think that's something that the people would also have voted when they went in to vote in the first phase. And remember, in the first phase, the voting actually dropped alarmingly. It was almost 5 to 6% down. So that was definitely a cause of worry. Of course, big faces from the BJP. Bhupendra Yadav, first time making a foray into electoral politics from Alwar.
Harsha, I'm interrupting you for half a second because Professor Shastri, what we are seeing in the last 30 seconds is the NDA alliance leads from postal ballots and other leads as well, presumably at this stage, pulling well ahead.
The gap is widening, as
of
you
India.
said.
That gap is widening. That was something which was expected certainly by exit polls.
Vishnu, not only is the gap widening, the trend we saw state by state seems to be the trend that is being picked up from the results of the exit poll. The only exception seems to be West Bengal and Maharashtra, where the TMC and the India Alliance seem to be a little ahead. That's the only exceptions to the broader trend.
Well, you're talking about Bengal. It's absolutely fascinating. And Nija, you're welcome to come in on this. 22 out of 42 trends at this stage. The BJP 11, the Trinamool at 10, the Congress at 1. In Bengal, the BJP just a little bit ahead of the Trinamool at this stage. Very early, but still.
Yeah, very early, but neck and neck, and yet the exit polls also pointed to the BJP being a little ahead. And Maharashtra or even Rajasthan is very fascinating.
Yes.
Because, 7 leads for India. That's the way the ground situation had shown, that they were tucker in many constituencies. So let's see how it ends up. But Rajasthan, Haryana, Maharashtra, those are the states where the opposition put up a contest.
So Rajasthan, Haryana and Maharashtra, we have MV Suresh as well of the BJP. He's been waiting. Thanks very much for waiting so patiently. Your quick reaction to the numbers that we're seeing right now.
Mr. Suresh, can you hear us? All right, sorry, we don't have him just yet. Ashok, would you like to come in over here? You know, what's happened in the last 1 or 2 minutes is that the number of trends have really shot up and in favor of the NDA. This is more or less along the lines of what the exit polls were saying. But again, early days. Any thoughts?
It's early days, but yes, we are now seeing leads as well as postal ballots. It would indicate that the NDA is ahead on the lines of the exit polls, but some of the exaggerations of some of the exit polls, some of the froth at the top, especially in places like Bengal, perhaps being belied. Of course, it's very early days.
Yes.
Maybe the fight in Bengal is much closer than some of the exit polls suggested, which would make more political sense really, but let's see, it's too early.
It's plus the 200 mark,
All right.
Vishnu. 202, yes.
So, Professor Shastri, at this stage, can we say, you know, leads pretty much across the country, not just postal ballots? It is early, 8:44. But what you were discussing earlier, we've got trends in 350 seats. That's huge.
Vishnu, I would say two trends. One where there is a huge difference between the major players,
Yes.
Which I think indicates a clear trend. And you also see certain states, West Bengal, Haryana, where the difference is very marginal. Maharashtra, West Bengal, Haryana, where the gap between the main players is very, very less.
And
now those could change quite interestingly.
And so
as we
those
move
may
forward.
still be postal ballots.
No,
is
no,
what you're
it
suggesting.
could be the EVMs
It
have
could
opened,
be
but the
EVMs.
initial rounds of EVMs, the fight is still tough. So
Right.
I'm
Yes.
looking at a difference where the gap is quite wide between the contestants, which seems to settle a trend.
Yes.
Whereas where it is narrow, still it could go either way in the next hour.
Well, we have some leads, Vishnu, that are coming in as far as leaders are concerned as well. Some of the key faces in this election, and that's going to be very interesting to see, you know, how that plays out. Gaurav Gogoi leading in Jorhat, Mr. Sonowal leading in Dibrugarh. These are as far as Assam is concerned. But we have Uma Sudhir joining us as well, and as far, all right, Uma Sudhir and Sam Daniel both joining us. As far as Telangana is concerned, Asauddin Owaisi is leading. He was up against a formidable opponent this time around, Madhvi Lata, who's trailing at least at this moment. But Uma, what's the general sense as far as the numbers at the moment are concerned?
So one of the most high-profile seats, of course, in Telangana has been Hyderabad with Madhvi Lata, who in her debut election, taking on someone as tall as an Asaduddin Owaisi, has managed to catch national attention, media attention, and quite a bit of media space as well. She was, in fact, this morning at the Lal Darwaza temple for her prayers and, speaking out her prayers aloud, and that has also been one of the things that has attracted many people to her, the way in which she utters her prayers, etc. But yes, she is trailing in Hyderabad Lok Sabha constituency, and it is not a surprise that Asaduddin Owaisi is leading and is perhaps expected to, in fact, win that constituency unless there is really an upset there. The other seats that the BJP per se would be looking at is also Itela Rajender's seat in Malkajgiri, at which counting centre I am. He is also someone who is coming from the BRS and is contesting on the BJP ticket here. Then you have Adilabad that they are looking at, where they are hoping to be able to get a win. Then Bandi Sanjay's Karim Nagar and Chevella, where they have Konda Vishweshwar Reddy, all these seats. And BJP would really need to almost increase its vote share significantly if it were to really go into double digits, as their national leaders as well as Amit Shah have been
Uma,
saying.
there's something interesting to look at over here. Of course, very early days, but Prajwal, Revanna and Hassan is actually leading at this stage.
The exit polls have predicted that he'll
That's,
win.
very early days, obviously. H.D. Kumaraswamy leading as well. Just sticking to Karnataka, D.K. Suresh of the Congress party leading. Tejasvi Surya leading in Bangalore South. And in terms of other leaders, Rahul Gandhi at this stage leading in Wayanad.
And leading in Raebareli as well.
I see.
Yes, he's leading in Raebareli, and in fact Smriti Irani is leading in Amethi. Many had said it's going to be a tough fight for Smriti Irani this time around as well, but
She's leading in Amethi, is she?
Yes, Smriti Irani is leading, Menaka Gandhi is leading, Akhilesh Yadav, his wife Dimple Yadav, both leading. Karan Bhushan, very interesting, Kaisarganj, his father was denied a ticket on grounds of sexual harassment charges. He's leading. Very interesting also in Purvanchal, Afzal Ansari from Ghazipur is leading at the moment. Narendra Modi, of course, from Varanasi
And
is
Shashi
leading. No surprises
Tharoor,
there.
in the Tharoor versus Chandrasekhar fight, it's
Is
Shashi
leading.
Tharoor
Yes,
who's,
so far.
who's leading right now.
Yes,
at
very,
this stage.
very, very interesting.
So
Sam
far, no
also
shocks.
with us. Sam, it's over to you. How are you looking at the numbers right now?
Well, Rishika and Vishnu, in Tamil Nadu, it appears the DMK an alliance, the DMK Congress alliance leads in most of the constituencies. Initial leads from Tirunelveli, particularly the postal votes count, suggest the BJP's Nainar Nagendran is leading. It's with respect to the postal votes thing. But largely, if it continues, then it will be advantage BJP in terms of opening its first account fighting elections in Tamil Nadu on its own. But too early to say that. But initial trends show at least in one constituency in Tirunelveli the BJP is leading. But otherwise, it appears to be a clear advantage, a clear sweep-like trend for the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu, which had retained its 2019 alliance, which had swept the poll last time as well. The DMK had largely fielded its standing candidates. Of course, some changes were brought in. The key candidates include Dayanidhi Maran, Kanimoli, T.R. Balu. In Congress is Karti Chidambaram. In BJP, of course, you have Union Minister Murugan, BJP Chief Annamalai. At the moment, they're all trailing. And in terms of the AIADMK, although it's the first election under the singular leadership of Edappadi Palaniswamy, they had fielded, many would say, weak candidates. Many of the veterans were not really keen to fight this time, perhaps hoping that the ruling DMK has a better chance, but too early now. But numbers go as predicted by the exit polls, the DMK and its allies largely leading in most of the seats, except one going in favor of the BJP, that's in Tamil Nadu, that's in Tirunelveli.
Well, one of the most fascinating states, we'll just go across to our guests in a moment. Let's pull up the numbers for Bengal at this stage, where it does appear that the BJP is actually pulling ahead of the Trinamool Congress. It is still a big fight over here, but the Trinamool is down 2 from last time. The Congress is, in a sense, a surprise in a state which has been dominated last time around by the BJP and the Trinamool. And all of the major leaders of the BJP at this stage appear to be leading, several of them in fact, other than Lokit Chatterjee, I should say, yes, who's actually trailing in Hooghly.
Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is also leading, and Yusuf Pathan is trailing there. So that was going to be a very interesting, yes, a very interesting seat to watch out for at the moment. Before we, quickly get a word from the spokespersons, can we just look at the numbers right now, given the gap, Sandeep Shastri? Are we allowed to be a little excited or not yet?
You are seeing a gap of around 85 seats now. And
so that
of
is
course,
a trend. I mean, we can
depending on where you sit, people will be smiling or
purely
or
in the
smiling.
center. Purely in the center.
So again, is this a trend in terms of beyond postal ballots? Can we now move beyond that?
Yes.
Because
beyond the shadow of doubt.
Yeah.
Now
Beyond
this
the
is
shadow
the
of doubt.
EVMs.
So these are EVMs now coming in. So postal ballots and non-postal ballots.
Dispassionately, that was my question. So no smiles
so
either
we can
way,
move
but
beyond
yes.
that.
Yes, we can move beyond that. We have Mahima Singh, like we said, NV Subhash, Shivam Chhabra. Shivam Chhabra and NV Subhash, both BJP spokespersons with us. We'll quickly get in a word. NV Subhash, okay, Shivam Chhabra, to you first. How are you looking at the numbers as far as the Hindi heartland is concerned, particularly Haryana and Rajasthan at the moment?
See, I think early trends are never reflective of the actual result. But whatever the postal ballots are basically delivering is certainly interesting. And I think we must not jump the goals and probably wait for the right moment to come and then celebrate what we are here to do so for today. I think the results are going to be better than the trends. This is what I can say.
A couple of interesting states over here in terms of trends. Odisha, 12 out of 21 trends at this stage. The BJP up 10, the India Alliance at 1, and the BJD is down 6 at only 1. So what we are seeing is, a clear indicator of a trend away from the BJD in Orissa. In Punjab, the Congress is of 12 leads is at 6, the BJP at 4. It's still 2 down for the Congress. Mahima, if you take a look at some of these leads at this stage, and the overall situation places the India Alliance at 165. It appears you're going to be well short of your hope for 295? Because at this stage, we are moving well beyond postal ballots.
I would say, Vishnu, के यकीन चांद पे सूरज पे एतबार भी रख, मगर निगाह में थोड़ा सा इंतजार भी रख. These are early trends, and we already see that democracy is paving way for itself. The results are showing that India is gaining ground, people's issues are gaining ground, ginti karo pehli naukri pakki Mahalakshmi is gaining ground. So we are very, very optimistic. The people of this country are very optimistic that the hate-mongering regime, the autocratic regime of the BJP, the kind of majority it has been enjoying is certainly going to be ousted. And no, we will not wonder if India has gained much more number of seats by the next couple of hours. So let's wait and watch. We are very sure that it will be a victory of the democracy, whichever way it is.
You know, Mahima, we are already up to 260.
Yes.
Remember, we are at 261. They're chasing 272 is the halfway mark. So it's really moving faster. Yeah,
yes.
You know, from...
But
Sorry,
again,
Nishi.
it's yes. I actually wanted to get in a word from ND Subhash on Haryana, because, you know, Haryana is one of those very interesting states where actually 60% of the BJP's candidates were turncoats from the Congress. And ironically, it appears that the India bloc is leading in 6. At least as of now. Naveen Jindal is trailing from Kurukshetra. Dr. Sushil Gupta of the Aam Aadmi Party actually leading from there, which is very interesting. Kumari Shelja is also leading from Sirsa at the moment. That's what we are learning, which is also very, very interesting. And Manohar Lal Khattar is also trailing at the moment from Karnal, which I think is also very interesting. So very quickly, NV Subhash, there was a lot of turbulence in Haryana, you know, change of guard, new faces got in. There was a sense that the BJP had sensed anti-incumbency and therefore made all of those changes. How are you looking at the numbers overall and Haryana in particular?
See, as far as the trends is concerned, the exit polls have very clearly given a good number of seats for NDA, which is, the slogan that "Abki baar Modi Sarkar, Abki baar 400 bar." It is, it is going to come true as you see the exit polls and the postal polls, the ballot and the countings of the EMS, just EVMs. So this is very clear and evident that Bharatiya Janata Party under the leadership of Modi, which Modi guarantee, will definitely prevail. As far as Haryana, you are just talking about. Even I'm seeing in the screen that this is too early to predict or to say anything.
Okay.
Because the Haryana has a unique culture that they give either one way to the one party and to next to other party.
Hilal first,
we are
and then
very
Professor
sure.
Shastri. Sir, just half a second, sir. Some important trends coming in. Hilal first.
Yeah, first thing is that initially we were talking about a wave election, etc. But it turns out to be clear that it is not a wave election. It's a highly localized election. Yes. Every state is different, and that's why if you carefully look at the number at the national level, you find that India Alliance is not doing badly.
Yes, they put up a fight.
The other point is the NDA as an alliance is 7 short of the halfway mark in terms of leads.
Yes.
But if you look at the left corner,
this is not going to be a 400 result. I think from now it's pretty clear that it's not going to be NDA at 400.
You see, if you look at the BJP leads, it's in 235 seats, which is 29 down from last time.
Yes.
And in the case of the Congress, it is 76 leads, which is 31 up from last time. So I think we need to look at both these numbers, the big numbers there of NDA, India and others, and also the 2 major parties which is being shown in the box on the left side.